This is Ashley Purvis, and I will be discussing with you the Assure model of instruction for Issues in Instructional Technology Fall 2018 semester. The Assure model is a lesson plan format that includes media into instruction. It was developed by Robert Hynek and Michael Melinda in 1999. It can be used in a variety of K through 12 classrooms and beyond, including professional development. ASSURE is an acronym for the 6 steps shown on the screen. I will discuss these steps in depth in a few minutes, but first I am going to introduce to you 2 examples of the ASSURE model. The first model we have is from Shannon Lusk. She wrote the lesson for her 9th and 10th grade American literature students. They did an author study of Edgar Allan Poe. The second lesson plan is designed by Dana Kaufman, a kindergarten teacher. The subject taught is math and counting using M&Ms as a media. I chose this because I wanted to illustrate that the ASSURE model can be used with younger students. Now I'm going to explain the 6 steps of the ASSURE method. Step 1. Analyze learners. This step requires the teacher to get to know his or her learners. Student information is critical and must include grade level, ages, and percentages of gender and socioeconomic status. Include any mental, emotional, physical, or social information. Also include their prior knowledge or entry competencies and their learning styles, whether it be visual, kinesthetic, verbal, etc. Step 2. State standards and objectives. It is a good practice to list state-adopted standards and ISTE standards that align with your lesson, especially if you are working in a public school. List your objectives, which are your learning outcomes for the lesson. Remember, objectives must be stated in behavioral terms of what the learner will be able to do. Objectives should include the ABCDs, such as audience, behavior, conditions, and degree. Step 3. Select strategies and resources. In this step, the teacher selects what instructional strategies will take place, what media to be used, and the materials and technology needed that will help achieve the objectives. This is also a good time to either create or select a bias-free rubric. Step 4. Utilize resources. In this step, the teacher must decide how to utilize the media, materials, and technology required. There is a process called the 5 Ps to ensure that everything is ready for the lesson. The 5 Ps include preview resources, prepare resources, prepare the environment, prepare learners, and provide learning experience. Step 5. Require learner participation. In this step, the learners get to practice the newly gained knowledge. It is important for the students to be actively engaged in this step. It is achieved through guided and independent practice. Practice can be in different forms such as discussions, group work, hands-on activities, internet activities, or computer-assisted instruction. Teachers must incorporate some form of feedback into this step before formal assessments. This can be accomplished by teacher-written feedback, the computer, peer evaluations, and self-evaluations. Step 6. Evaluate and revise. This is the final step in the process. The teacher evaluates the impact of the learning that took place. The teacher can evaluate the student's performance through various assessments or using a rubric. The teacher can evaluate his or her choice of materials and media to decide how effective they were during the instruction. Also, the teacher can assess himself or herself to decide what areas need to be addressed. Surveys by students or peer teachers can also provide helpful feedback. The teacher can then make any revisions based on the evaluations and improve the lesson for future use. This is my approach to teaching the Assure model lesson. The lesson is titled, What if the Library Dragon Came to Cox Elementary? I decided to incorporate both ELA and technology elements into the lesson. Of course, I chose The Library Dragon by Carmen Agrediti for my read aloud. Technology required includes the use of my interactive touch panel, document camera, and Chromebooks. The students would then recreate their own version of the Library Dragon using the Storybird app that is loaded onto their Chromebooks. This concludes my presentation of the Assure model of instruction. It is a great way to make sure your learners' needs are assessed, incorporating technology into the lesson, and teacher preparedness.